Voltron
We're
Network.
live. Let's do this. What's good, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking at the Movies. I'm Edris Antonio.
It's Salam. It's Mo. You know, I was thinking, right, that because I hardly ever come, should I actually introduce myself third now?
Yes, so we can say special guest.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Yes. Special guest. But can I do a little magic trick first for you guys? Can I show you a little magic trick?
Go on.
Right, so we're obviously like in different locations here, but look at what like I robotically can do.
Well, he's going to take off his clothes.
Oh.
Shall I show you a magic trick?
Why? Why would you even think that?
I don't know.
Why would you even think
Well,
that?
after the freaking trailer, the weird, sexy trailer that you showed us earlier on about the sex doll thing.
Oh,
Yeah, so
dummy.
that's kind of in my head. So, like, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
what's
pretty
that?
good. Could I try it? That's a really good magic trick, Mo.
Portals.
And it's so good that I can even do it this side. That's like a new feature of Zoom, right? You have to have like a Uber premium version of Zoom to do a remote hand slap.
So, let's do this again then. What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Edris Antonio.
It's Mo.
And special guest.
It's your boy Salim here.
So, what, you
It
decided to
doesn't
join us?
work, though. It doesn't. I think I have to be second.
Why
I think
have you decided to join us this week?
because you two begged me. You like literally called me up, sent me messages, love hearts, emojis, kisses. You know,
No one's
please
believing
come on
that.
the show.
No fooling
Our
the
ratings-
people.
Our ratings go up.
The only reason he's here is he's obviously having a fight with his missus and had nothing to do this weekend.
Yes, yes. So what was it?
Oh, there was no fight. Everything's
Sure.
fine.
Is this your version of like you're going to play golf at the weekend?
No, this is
I'm
actually
going-
technically. No. I think I can't play golf. Can you?
Creep it.
But like, no, this is your
play
thing. You know, like
golf?
how some men
You play
go
crazy
to
golf in Florida.
That's
Some
not
men go,
golf. That's
Good
not
enough. Same
golf.
thing.
like, some men go to the pub on a Saturday. Some men go football. You go
What
record
I've done,
podcasts.
what I do now is I come to you guys once a week.
Are you bending your fingers
No,
like
no,
that?
Do you remember I used to like? Yeah.
She broke his fingers.
Ah.
Yeah, I used to. So what I was thinking, right, is come here once a month, right, and then the other 3 times in the week, in the month, I go to see her.
You make it sound like an affair.
I
Like
know,
you
it
cheating,
does.
like your family
does,
away
doesn't
from your
it?
family.
You know what? Now that you're putting it like that, it does kind of sound like that.
No
I mean, if
commitment.
you guys want me to be here more often, I'll speak
Wouldn't
to
want
her.
you to go out of your way, son, to force you to come and be here with your friends. It's, you know,
On a
fine.
podcast that you were like the inaugural founding member of.
Oh, you know what? That's just pissed me off. I'm going to activate my premium Zoom feature.
Yeah. So what's good, guys? What's been happening? What's new? What you been watching?
Who's going first?
All right. Well, I know that you guys did the review for The Old Guard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
So,
Netflix, Oh God, Charlie Theron, Immortal Warrior.
I hope she's not listening to this, but I really didn't enjoy that movie. With a film that had so much potential, I thought they could have done so much. I know they're on a budget and stuff, but they could have done so much with it. There were just so many weak characters in it. You could see the plot a mile off, where he's gonna. Sorry, guys, spoiler. Where he's gonna deceive her.
Yeah.
See that?
I don't think the problems with it were budgetary problems. It was just bad writing, lazy action. Yeah,
You know,
things that could have been done with
yeah.
zero budget.
Well, when you well, I don't know about zero
No.
budget, but when you talk about, okay, like there's this grand fight happening in London town central, right, on the top of a building where the police should be there instantly, and then all of a sudden when they leave,
Hold on, no. So that's the bit that I think we laboured on that last week, where in London, even on Sunday morning
Yes.
at 6 a.m, there are people around.
Can't move.
there's the bad guy was really weak.
Horrible actor, strange looking. He's basically a cyclops. His eyes were so close together. One of them annoying faces you just want to slap.
But you're not supposed to like the bad guy. You
This
want
is
to
true.
slap him.
So maybe that is a success. The one strong success it had. It made the unlikable bad guy truly unlikable.
You know, well, there's that. But the Mark Zuckerberg bad guy, right?
Yeah.
There's, you know, and there's other things as well. I didn't really I couldn't connect with the team. You know, like, you know, you have a team. But, you know, if we went out, right?
Because you're homophobic and you didn't like
we
the two
were the
lovers.
old guards, right? If we were the old guards, right?
You just think
right,
brushed over that.
Right, and there was a burden. I think that our dynamics will work really well.
You mean
And watching
fourth
us. What? Sorry.
You mean fourth member?
Would I be the fourth member?
No, you mean fourth member. If we were the old guard and then there was a third member, you mean
fourth, right? There's a fourth member, right? I think anyone watching us on screen would enjoy our chemistry. That's why our 5 viewers join into the podcast every week. But don't you think so? No, it was just crap, guys. It was just like I said, it was a two-star movie. But it was crap. No, it was. Did you enjoy it? I didn't hear your review.
It was nowhere near crap. I did enjoy it. I liked the concept, right? I think I had the same problems you had, so I thought the
concept doesn't make it a good show.
Yeah, no, but it hooks you in, right? That's what I like.
Warrior Nun has a good concept, but it's bad.
Well, no, how is it?
Kinda has a good concept, but it's bad.
How is Warrior Nun concept any different than like Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Because she has an angel's halo in her back. That's kind of cool.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the one girl in the whole world who was given the power by men to fight demons. Yeah. So it's the same thing, right? Same concept. This was like that whole. These people have lived essentially for like hundreds of years. In Charlize Theron's thing, she's lived obviously for thousands of years.
Yeah.
But
we think. Yeah. She never says.
So the way you were explaining and describing it, it sounds fun. It sounds like a really cool movie. But
it was. So I do think there was a budgetary issue, which I'm quite surprised because this is a Skydance.
But again, why would that be a problem for what we saw?
It's because you might have been able to hire a better director. You might have been able to get like better action choreographers. You may have been.
You can still get a good director.
The directing at sometimes did look like it was amateur hour.
I bet
it was like if Stalin wanted to direct a film, this is what it would look like, right?
I bet the first John Wick didn't have no bigger budget than this.
Sorry?
The first John Wick, I bet, didn't have no bigger budget than this.
No, this looks like a much lower budget film.
I reckon the
first John Wick was cheap as shit. Yeah, because they were stunt directors. They were literally stuntmen who decided to direct a movie and managed to somehow get.
So you've got actual stunt people doing all of this. And I think that the other problem, like I mentioned last week, the guy who wrote this is the guy who wrote the comic. And I think just because you can write a comic doesn't mean you can write a screenplay.
But saying that, this has been one of their most successful movies they've ever had. Apparently,
like
it's a massive success.
It's not a bad film.
It's
an okay, fun watch. I would not say it's a 2. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's a 4. It sits somewhere in between. To me, it felt more like it was the first episode of a TV series. It was like a pilot.
Yeah.
So what did you give it in the end?
I must have given it about a 3. 3.5 maybe.
3.5.
Like I said, I really like like the bit at the end, like where they're unraveling, like the guy has got on the wall, like all the things that these people have done. That's like what I was hoping to tune into. Like I wanted more about that, rather than like the fact that
I want to see them over the ages, the different decades and millennia, just fighting all these crazy wars.
There was that other really weird scene, like where he talks about where she's. I think it's the black girl comes out with her axe or her special weapon, right? And then he starts shooting at her. So she drops it. And like that dude like picks it up and he looks at it and he runs off with it. And then he's going to use it as a weapon. He's like a freaking old guard. It's like, get a gun or something. Anyway, really crappy film, and I'm so upset that I watched it. I saw this.
Doesn't watch Extraction, but he's willing to watch that shit.
Right. Another show that I watched, which is Indian matchmaking. Right. This is.
No, you're asking us. You're telling us.
So it's Indian matchmaking, right? I just went. I took a screenshot. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, so
where was this?
It's a show on Netflix, right? So it's basically one of India's most respected matchmaker, right? She charges about $2,000, $5,000 just for a consultation.
Is this a real thing, or is it
documentary? Yeah. It's an 8-part episode. So I saw this, right? And you know what? I'm looking at all these people. Well, basically, she goes to the States from India to match up people. It's actually pretty funny, right? But it's crazy. All these girls, right, on this show, the ones that they had on there, not all of them, but one in particular, she was so annoying that I just wanted to switch it off for that reason. I stuck with it because people kept saying, you might as well watch it. You might as well watch it. But every time she came on the screen, just friggin' annoying.
The woman was annoying. The girl she was matching up was annoying.
The girl that she was finding a match for. Yeah. Girl, yeah.
So is this something you watched out of choice, or is this something you watched because
the other half?
Yeah, my other half sent me.
So it begins.
Link, right?
Bad TV shows.
Yeah, well, she actually admits she's got choice of bad TV shows. She actually like 365 days, but we know fucking why.
Oh,
yes,
that's a clue. That shows you what she's into. You gotta watch it and then emulate the abuse that you saw in the film.
Oh yeah, what was another one that she liked? She's
kinky. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna get into a relationship.
Anyway. So
definitely not gonna invite the wedding.
Just check that show out if you're into.
What's it called?
It's called Indian Matchmaker.
What's that on?
It's on Netflix.
It just sounds like a real waste of time.
Watch it because it's actually annoying. You can kind of get into the mindset of what these people are like when they're looking for their partners and how annoying and the most smallest things that they don't need in their life, how they turn it into such a big thing. And you find out why these people are always single because of certain decisions they're making within their relationships. So they keep attracting the same sort of people.
I just find it really difficult to watch reality TV.
Well, check it out. Just watch one episode, right? And recommendation of you, Last Dance, Michael Jordan documentary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got around to check that out.
I mean,
I'm done with it now.
Oh, you watched the whole thing? Yeah. Interesting. So what do you think?
Oh my god, what an amazing documentary!
It's actually well made, isn't it? Especially how it it gives you context of the time period in the 90s.
Yeah, I love the way they did this because it took me. I don't know if you were into basketball back in the days.
I mean, like that period, everyone was into
that window, right?
The music.
Yeah.
You always saw people like all these iconic characters from the Bulls,
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah. But just their stories going into each one and finding out what happened at that time.
It's interesting to know more about Rodman and his crazy shit he was into, and Pippen and Jordan, man. He's not the nicest guy who you want to hang out with, is he?
Well, Rodman, interestingly, was in you don't really think about it all that much. You think about these guys playing basketball, it's a fun sport, blah, blah, blah. But he said, you're literally getting paid for stress.
Yeah.
Because this is just a full-time stress job, and that's what you're getting paid for. He goes, once you're part of the team, the fun part is kind of shifted to the side, and it's just a journey of stress. So much so, man. Look at that episode where he just goes off to Vegas because he needs a break.
Yeah, you think you need a break? He just want to relax. No, he just parties, and it's basically does more stress to his body and his mind, even when he's off.
Yeah, but a really, really good documentary. So do check it out if you.
Really good. He couldn't stick. I think he started.
I saw one episode, and I was just like,
yeah, but I suppose we were you were playing basketball back then as well, weren't you?
Yeah, but in the first episode, not a lot happens, and it's kind of like an hour long. They're just loads of people's names, and you're kind of you haven't told me anything about this saga. I was just like,
and you had the same attitude to get about Undertaker's last ride as well.
No, I said that was different. That was more about I just couldn't watch this poor old man talk about how tough this was on his body, but he just kept on doing it.
Get to see him get cut
I just
open and
found it difficult to
not his hip bone. You get to see all of that.
I just didn't want to watch poor Undertaker destroy himself.
Did you ever think, did you ever think in 20 years' time would you be using the word poor Undertaker?
It's a weird thing to watch, right? Because when wrestling was at the height of its popularity, right, there was this whole you do not break your persona, right? You are who you are, whether you're in public, whether you're performing. And to watch them talk candidly, to have Undertaker sitting in his house talking to you about how much pain he's in, and the fact that he can't even remember something from 3 o'clock in the afternoon or that entire WrestleMania.
Do you finish it?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
How many you got?
I've just watched the one episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
You're both in the same place.
Yeah. So that's what I've been watching.
Watch more.
So you haven't been in here for about a month, and that's the 250. What's the Star Trek going like? Have you watched?
Star Trek is always going on, man.
Well, where are you up to? Tell me what you've been watching.
I'm towards the end of season 3 at the moment.
You were on season 3 the last time you spoke.
Well, I've only been here. When was the last time? It's about
4 weeks ago, or something, right?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
So I don't watch it all the time. I'm actually more interested in what he's watching, the channel that we found, the YouTube channel.
I spoke about that last week, though.
Yeah.
But I've been watching a lot of history documentaries about, literally, like I spoke about it last week, but everything from Rome and Greece and Egypt and Kush and Mesopotamia and all these different regions. And that's gotten me into the headspace where I only want to watch history shows. So I started watching Spartacus again. So I'm 3 seasons into that. And I also remember, I never finished Spartacus.
You never finished it?
I didn't watch the last season, technically season 4, actually season 3, but technically season 4 because of the prequel season, because I didn't like the actor that they changed Andy Whitman with.
Yeah, they have no real choice there, though.
Him and Nave, when those 2 actors, well, one had got cancer and sadly passed away. It would be so cool if he could have stuck around a bit more. And then Nave, she just, wanted to cash in her opportunities after the successful first.
Yeah, but it's still got like what's his name? I can't remember what's his name now. Was it Joseph Bob Hanson? The guy who's the owner of all the gladiators.
Oh, Batiatus.
Yeah, he was great.
He was wicked. Princess.
Xena, Princess Warrior. She was great in it.
Yeah, it's still wicked show.
It's still, I think it's got to be one of those shows with the highest count of like just nudity at any one time.
It makes Game of Thrones look like Sesame Street. There are some things that even I'm surprised they got away with when they did this. But it's aged well. It's still a really good show.
I think the dialogue really helped because they paid a lot of attention to the dialogue in that. It's not like your normal run-of-the-mill stuff. There is some well-crafted...
Are you trying to place cock in ass? Yeah, for the last couple of days after, because I've taken like 2 days break to watch other things to catch up. But yeah, it gets into your head and you're literally thinking in that dialogue.
Why don't you?
Yeah, like the old English dialogue. Like,
have you been to like the local takeaway where they're charging you like too much for a can of Coke?
Like, that's what you want to reply. You can't. Are you trying to place cock in us? Cock is not worth it yet. But she falling off camera. You got to tell me when I drift off.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, when I drift
back
off.
on now.
So yeah, I've been watching that. I gave Curse to go.
Oh yeah,
1.5 episodes. It is bad.
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, I gave that shot as well. I couldn't even make myself way through 1 episode.
It's not good.
No, it's
not
awful.
Oh.
It's literally just, even as soon as it starts, you're like, oh my god, this is not going to be good, is it? Everything about it.
Even seeing his name, Flowey, whatever the fuck his name was.
Loki.
Nah, Cursed. Nah.
Not worth giving it well.
No, definitely not, man.
Not. Palm Springs, the movie you reviewed last week.
Yes, tell me what you thought.
Sandberg, basically like a Groundhog Day type movie where he kind of relives the same day, and then he accidentally kind of drags this woman into it with him.
Yeah.
But if you watch the film, there's actually another guy actually drags into it as well, which I didn't know. But yeah, it's a nice film. It's funny. It's heartwarming. It's a good little indie.
It's a great film, isn't it?
Rom-com indie.
Such a cool little Saturday evening. Like Silent, you should probably watch this with your missus. It's a real, just
good
fun,
date movie.
Nice movie.
Probably a good date movie.
But it's so well put together, right?
It is.
It's and the 2 main characters, like I said, they just play off each other so well.
They do, but would you have gone back with? Are we going to ruin things? I can't, because if you're not going to watch it, are you?
No, I will watch it. One minute you were saying you guys should watch it.
The amount of things I tell you to watch, and you're like, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
And
but
then
you know,
a month later,
I'm going to be I'm going to be taking your advice even more now because I need to cater for someone else. So when you guys say, hey, you need to watch this film with your partner, so that's what I want to check out.
Okay, so I can't ruin things, though, but
J.K. Simmons, even him, he's absolutely fantastic in this film.
Always. I don't get the sense that she was that into him, though. Maybe it's just the
you
way
didn't
she...
get the sense that she
was...
We can watch the same
her
movie.
attitude.
No. No, she was well into... Well, towards the end, I think... So, hold on a minute. So, actually, you know what? You might be onto something there because she got into him because they were stuck together.
Yeah.
And then
don't give away too much.
Yeah, and then obviously she felt bad about her situation.
Yeah.
And then I think it became more important to her to live her life. I think that was what the problem was,
and you
right?
think, and that period of time, you're led to believe had to have been maybe months.
Could have been months. Could have been years for all we know. Like, she learned quantum mechanics.
Exactly. Like, you just think she couldn't be that age. She could but no, it's a good film. Give that a good. I don't know.
Well, it's not that she wasn't that into him. I think I think you get to a bit where it doesn't matter anymore. Like whether you don't see someone for 10 days because those 10 days don't.
If you're into someone, then you can't really go that long without seeing them because you want to be with them. That's what love's supposed to be.
But she wanted the next step in their relationship, right? And that meant
death.
Potentially, maybe.
Not that. But no, it's enjoyable. 3.5, but a good, solid 3.5.
Yeah, good film.
And I think that's it until I remember something else that I've forgotten, which I'm sure there is.
Every week you say you're going to start making a list. You just got to have an empty Google Notes.
Can't be bothered.
Google Docs.
Spontaneity. So what have you been watching?
And then after we finish recording, you'll be like, oh, I remember, I watched so-and-so. Right, so I'll take a little rundown. So last week, I got Mr. Vampire in the mail from Eureka. I think I even showed the box art on
Golden Harvest. Classic.
Yeah, so I watched that last Saturday. Fantastic, fun little film. First time I've seen like an Asian horror vampire movie.
So what was your take on this new style of vampires?
First time you've seen an Asian horror
vampire.
Where's a vampire comedy?
But you've seen Asian horror
comedy, right?
Actually, you probably haven't because you don't really know. So you've never seen The Grudge and Ring and all of those classics.
Never seen any of those.
You have to watch. Yeah. Okay, so
that's added on the list of original versus remake.
So I mean, this is not really a horror movie. This is way more of a comedy.
Yeah.
But it is really funny, and it really carries on that kind of that tone that like Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung sort of like brought out like in the 80s.
I don't find it as enjoyable as Spooky Kind though.
I haven't watched Encounters of a Spooky Kind yet.
Get into that. That's way better because there's more actual physical martial arts in those films.
Because Sammo Hung's actually did that, whereas he actually just executive produced.
Yeah, so this is more just pure comedy than actual action.
Yeah, but it's kind of it's really weird, like having this whole other like vampire lore, right? Like as in the vampires don't actually have like a personality like they do in the West. They only hop. They're quite easy to incapacitate.
Yeah, they stick those little tags on their forehead and they stop moving.
Yeah,
and also through these movies, learn how the Chinese, or at least the ancient Chinese, or whenever this was, like medieval times or 100 whatever years ago, how they bury people
vertically, yes. Yeah, which I guess kind of makes sense, right? Because you are saving space.
But then surely as the body rots, it's going to slowly kind of slip down to the bottom and
who cares about that, right? Because they're saving space the other way around.
But then the thing is, over here, you can layer people on top of each other with graves.
I think we should just be cremating everyone. Like, fucking, why are we wasting space? I sometimes do think about, like, at what point, like, how many people do you bury in the earth before you suddenly realise there are more, like, graves than there are places for other things now?
It's true, like, graveyards are, like, premium real estate right now, especially in London.
So what are you saying? You want to be burnt, right? Cremated?
I'll seriously consider that, If I make nothing of my life, cremation.
What do you mean whether you make...
If I make something of my life and I got a bit of money, then monument. I want gold statues. I want pyramids around it.
Dude, they're just going to pull you down the river. That's what they're going to do.
Like a dictator. I want to die like a dictator. The whole cathedral.
Pull your statue down.
You want to die being known as a dick.
Yeah.
I then decided to continue my horror weekend and decided to revisit an old classic. It's not really a horror film, but Shaun of the Dead. I don't know.
That is a classic.
I was hiding to see something really funny, really enjoyable, having just watched Mr. Vampire.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is just like one of those timeless films. It's just so good.
It is.
So good.
This is the one where one of the funniest scenes in it is where they've got to pretend to be zombies, right?
Yeah. And I do love. I mean, even though like it is a zombie movie, there is so much in there that's about like life and relationships and stuff like that, where literally like the guy, all he wants to do is go to the pub, hang out with his friends.
That could be part of a problem with a relationship, the monotonous routine, because she was just getting bored with it and he just wasn't willing to adapt to that and be more adventurous. And learn from that.
Great film. Absolutely love it. I think I might watch some of their other ones now, like Hot Fuzz, The World's End, and Paul.
I don't really like Hot Fuzz all that much.
I like Hot Fuzz. I really like Hot Fuzz. World's End for me
is terrible. It's not great.
Or at least it started the first half.
And I know it's not Edgar Wright, but I need to revisit Paul because obviously it's still Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Paul.
Where they meet the alien. Yeah. I also, having seen Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 recently, I decided to watch last night The Army of Darkness.
How does Evil Dead help? We never spoke about Evil Dead 2.
I did speak a little bit about it on the remake versus original versus remake.
As it compared to the first one.
Well, Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is absolutely bloody fantastic. The first one's a good film. The second one's an even better film.
The first one's not.
The first one is a good film, Eddie. It's an absolutely riot movie. Oh my God, no. The remake was not better. The remake is largely forgettable and terrible.
Very good
compared to the original. In fact, it's not even fit to lick the boots of the original.
It looks like a student movie.
You guys have really different views on this, man.
I don't even mean there are many times we've agreed. Actually,
I think generally we're kind of
the
Scarface.
Well, Scarface one, but the Departed versus Infernal Affairs.
Yeah,
Infernal Affairs is way better.
Departed, hands down.
So number 2 is a fantastic film. I always used to think the third one was the best. Having watched the third one last night, it is a good film. It's it's a real riot. I do think, actually, now as I'm older, I think the second movie is the better film. I think the third one has got some issues with like pacing and lack of characterization. It just seems like it's just Bruce Campbell. I was about to say Bruce Willis. Bruce Campbell. It's basically the Bruce Campbell show, which is no bad thing, right? Because he is such a fun actor, and you know exactly what you're getting when he's bringing it. But still such a joy. And now I want to go off and watch Ash versus the Evil Dead series.
I've actually been watching that on and off over the last few months. Season 2 of that.
Didn't we watch quite a lot of that? Because I remember I did.
So I think I watched the first season. I haven't actually seen season 2 and 3 yet.
Oh, I'm on season 2.
Yeah, so, I think I've seen all of season 2.
But just because of the fact that we did an episode about the Evil Dead, and it just made me watch those, and just honestly, I'd forgotten how good those movies were.
Yeah, good.
And the history, I think I watched a retrospective about it afterwards. So some of the making of stuff's really good. I want to draw your attention to Peacock. So Peacock is the streaming service, and quite recently, I think either last week or the week before, they did a 30 Rock special.
Oh, they've done it?
Yeah, it's been done. It's been on. So it was all shot using Zoom and some additional equipment that was delivered to these actors, who then had to use family members and partners to do the lighting, and so it still all looks like it's really slickly done, but it is like everybody is separated, everybody is not in the same scenes together, and the only time they appear together is when they're on Zoom calls. It is literally a 55-minute long advert for Peacock. You've got NBC Universal stars like in there. You've got anytime they can mention NBC, they got the NBC logo all over the place in the background. They got the Peacock logo in the background. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it literally is an advert for the service.
So you knowing that's an advert, watch 55 minutes of that, how do you feel?
It's not an advert, as in it is an episode of 30 Rock they've done as a reunion special, but the whole thing is engineered to be an advert for Peacock.
Do you think 30 Rock is big enough still at this point that it could succeed in being that sort of advert to bring people into the...
Well, the thing is, so if you imagine where we are at the moment, and the way that Peacock has done their pricing structure, so their pricing structure is very different from everyone else. So you basically have a free tier where you get access to some stuff with adverts, and then you get access to maybe 1 or 2 episodes of some shows, and then you have to pay to like watch some of the other stuff, right? And then you have a second paid tier for like $4.99, which has adverts. And then you have like a premium tier, which is like $11.99 with like no ads. So essentially, it does. I guess in this day and age where everyone's at home and there's a pandemic going on, if a service is giving you access to some free content, you're going to sign up, you're going to download the app, and you said, "Oh look, there's an episode of 30 Rock. That used to be quite a big thing. Let's give it a watch."
Wouldn't mind revisiting 30 Rock.
I just got the box set delivered today.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, you noticed that? It's behind me. Yeah. The actual show itself, it's like you can see everyone's got a little bit older. I think the problem is obviously they were quite limited with what they could do. The fact that it all is through Zoom. There is some really strange decision that they made with Kenneth's character, because Kenneth is now the head of Universal NBC. I think they do a flashback to an episode of 30 Rock where Jack goes, "That boy will we'll all be working for that boy in like 5 years or something." The page.
Shit, he's running the whole thing.
He's running the whole thing, but he has a PA who does like all his bookings and all that. And his PA is basically him in a wig and a skirt and a blouse. And it's just so odd.
You never really watched Feral, did you?
I started 30 Rock, but I never stuck with it.
Yeah. I finished off Wayne. So Wayne is a show where we watched a trailer for a couple of weeks ago. And Eddie, give it a go. What I want to say about the show, not the greatest show in the world, but it's like a fun 25, 30 minutes. There's like 10 episodes. Unfortunately, it's a YouTube show, so there's going to be no second season. It does leave a few things up in the air. But the thing I kept thinking about is, if the CW could make this quality of a teenage show, this would make like those shows would be infinitely so much better. This is like, it is very much a teenager show, but they made it good enough to like for people like me to be interested in.
It looked fun, it looked crazy. Yeah. Rochester's what I'm into, so yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, do check it out. And lastly, obviously we had one of our readers quite recently, one of our listeners email in talking about his love for Community, Joseph, or Joe from Calais. And I've got to say, that really did make me want to revisit the show. And I think I'd watched one episode prior to Joe writing in. I've now I think I finished season 1 now, in that 2-week span. I've been watching it non-stop.
Taking like a month break, but I was like I was into the dark ages, the dark seasons, when Dan Harmon had left.
Yeah. So season 5, is that 4?
Yeah. No, it was 4, yeah. And I kind of just drifted off.
Yeah. But that first season, you actually really forget at how good and groundbreaking that show was. I mean, yesterday I watched the episode of the paintball episode. And aside, if you've never seen the paintball episode.
I've seen the paintball episode, yeah.
And I think if you forgot, we need to rewatch that, right? Because the music, the gunplay, the directing, the camera angles, the slow motion, the overacting by Senor Chang, it's just off the charts.
He's what I've enjoyed the most revisiting. Like his character, it stands out way more to me now than it did when I originally watched it. Like he should have been way more of a focus overall. He's so much fun.
He is very, very good.
So much fun.
But I was watching it I think this week, and I was like, all the characters are all unique, like from the core group, right? They all like have their own thing. They're all individual. You hate Abid. Why do you hate Abid?
I don't like that.
Everyone loves Abid.
I don't like that. Abid
was a bit of a weak
No. So, but that was him acting, because there are times where he does like the Don Draper like impression, and you'll think, "Fuck me, this guy's an amazing actor."
I just don't like that dead.
No. I love the Abid character.
Yeah,
I love. Sometimes I kind of feel like there is a lot of me in him, because he sees everything through TV and movies.
No, but he knows all the iconic stuff. You haven't watched a lot of the iconic stuff. You're still catching up.
Doesn't matter. So that is the majority of stuff that I have been watching.
Okay. So, should we get to trailer park?
Let's get into the trailers.
Let's do it. We'll just skim through. We don't have to watch everything. Anything that just stood out to us that looks.
So what I really want to do is I want to get. So obviously one of the biggest things coming in the next couple of weeks is Star Trek Lower Decks. We have had your opinion. You hate it. You don't like Star Trek. We know that, but
I didn't like the main trailer.
You were like,
initially.
this looks rubbish. I hope it fails.
That little
Star Trek is dead.
intro of the first episode actually looks better. It looked better. But I'm still cautious going into it, but it looks as bad
interested in watching it now.
I said I'll give it a go either way.
Yeah.
But
when you originally showed it to me, I thought, okay, I think I could get behind this. I liked how it's so like on its head with everything, and I agree with what Mo says. You can literally take this anywhere, and I like the animation as well. I didn't mind the trailer personally, but I think I just got a little bit more excited after watching the small little clip that they showed.
Definitely helps give you a bit more context in the style of humor.
Yeah. So the clip we're talking about is CBS All Access have released like a minute and a half, like the opening of the first episode, which kind of gives you an idea of what tone that the show will have.
After watching that, I wanted some Romulan
whiskey.
Whiskey was it? Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they called it Romulan whiskey because isn't it supposed to be Romulan ale?
Yeah, that's what even I know it as Romulan ale.
Yeah,
So it shows these people writing it don't know what
No. See, I think it's that character. That's what you got to look at. She just said it. It's that character.
The guy who's writing it is a huge TNG fan. If you look at it, in that trailer, there is so much of stuff that they've all like the very opening shot. You see that space station? That space station is a bit of a running joke in Star Trek itself because it first appeared in Star Trek 2, the other way up. They then put it in Star Trek 3 and they turned it upside down just to make it look like it would be another space because I was trying to save money. It was then used in like the TV series as well at some point. So it's just become one of those things where Star Trek they're so cheap when it comes to production, they keep using the same things over and over again.
So what was it in the cartoon? It should have been on its side then.
Yeah, they should have done something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah. We've then had Truth Seekers from Amazon, which is the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost show. Although I don't actually think we saw Simon Pegg in the trailer. Was he in the trailer?
Yeah, the wiggle.
Right.
Didn't look good.
Didn't look great.
You know what looked better? I forget what they were called. They weren't called Truth Seekers. They were called something else. But that mini episode in Supernatural.
You know what? I knew we were going to go there. I was like, I do know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah,
they're going to cut
catches or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It does remind me of that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping because of the names involved, this was just a poor trailer, and a future trailer or the show itself will be better.
Yeah, it's a shame how they just more or less stitched the rest, the half of the trailer with just fast music and just quick edits.
Yeah, because the jokes weren't hitting.
And none of the jokes, none of them made me laugh at all.
No, I've been hunting jokes for 20 years.
It felt like a joke that you could get away in like British comedy back in the really sort of in the 90s or something.
Was that causing a bit of a
flare?
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Okay.
No. Bill and Ted Face the Music official trailer 2.
It does not look good.
What?
No.
What? Did we watch the same trailer?
Yeah, we did. We watched it all in one room.
Oh, come on, man.
2 versus 1.
I really want to see this film now.
Why?
Yeah.
What in it makes you excited?
Because I'm excited to see Bill Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan back together again.
They just look like they're doing bad impressions of themselves now.
That's why I want to watch it. And I want to watch hell, and I want to watch death, and I want to watch them being failures and feel better about my life as an adult.
If you showed me that back in the 90s, I would have been, or the early 2000s, I would have said, definitely.
But that's the whole point. Again, it's about the nostalgia.
But it didn't really...
No, I didn't get any nostalgia from it. And their daughters are basically copying what they did in whichever film it was. I can't remember.
Bogus Journey.
Yeah. Just collecting all the different people from different
times. That was an excellent adventure.
Yeah, but this time they're musicians and they put together a big band.
Yeah, I know, to save the universe.
Yeah, it's the same thing. A song to save the universe. Yeah. That worked back in the 90s. I don't know if it really worked.
No. I see you two are just negative Nellies.
No, it just...
Like the YouTubers.
I think this is... I feel that... So this has been in the works for some time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Well, they've been talking about it. Obviously, the filming just...
Okay, so they've been talking about it for some time, but there's probably scripts lying around, and they said, like, you know what? No. And they got to a point where they just like, oh, fuck it, let's just do it.
Do the same thing we did in the other films, and just kind of collect it all together.
So they've changed the release schedule and the release, I guess, mode of what they're going to do with this. So this was originally supposed to hit theaters August 28th. What they're now doing is it's going to hit theaters, select theaters, September 1st, and it's going to go on VOD September 1st as well.
Same day. Which could be a more enjoyable way to watch it at home rather than going to cinema. I don't think I'd bother with the cinema for this one. If I had the option.
I don't know. I do like those original films. It's been a while since I've seen them, so I could potentially watch them and realise I don't like them that much. So the first one is coming to 4K next month. Obviously, they're doing it to build the hype for this.
No, you don't have to buy everything that comes out of 4K.
Everything.
You can let some things just go.
No.
Get everything.
I like to get everything and review it for the channel.
What money you'd have if you didn't buy all these things?
Don't spend money on alcohol and drugs and prostitutes and all that normal stuff.
Just give it to Eddie. Send him a monthly check in the post to say, hey, this is all the Blu-rays that I was going to buy.
Yeah, but then I don't have any Blu-rays. We have next Sputnik.
Yeah. This is cool. It looks like Russian aliens.
Yeah, that's why.
And they could have made this part of that franchise. A way more interesting addition to those franchises than what we've gotten as additions to that Alien franchise.
Yeah.
This does look good.
Can't say I was excited watching that trailer.
Yeah, I wasn't excited, but it did give me a very loud Alien vibe.
I think it looked lovely. I think it looked well directed, well acted. I recognise a few of the actors in it.
Yeah.
No, I'm into it. I'm gonna check it out. It's available online, not officially, but it's out there.
Well, when it becomes officially available, do let me know and I'll check it out.
You're not even gonna bother. Okay, fine. I'll do the review.
No, I said,
I'll do the review.
You know, I can't condone piracy.
It's Russian. Come on.
What? So that makes it better.
Yes, they tried to steal our COVID antidote.
That was the Russian government. We're talking about filmmakers.
That's true.
They're not.
You're Russia. We apologize. I'm just joking.
You apologize that you're joking. Ghosts of War. This was one I'd not actually heard of, but the trailer looks interesting.
Could be interesting. What, like a ghost, a haunted house movie based in the Second World War with soldiers. Yeah. I like those crossovers.
Yeah. Like, no, you're missing out the most important thing. You're missing out the fact that the ghosts are the family of people who were tortured by Nazis.
By the Nazis, So they're reenacting their torture against the US soldiers. Could be interesting because it's a good combination because there's that movie which I noticed that you had in your library called Overlord, which kind of takes that supernatural element with war, and it actually does it really well.
So I haven't actually seen Overlord yet.
Yeah.
So this got a pretty good cast. There's a lot of people that we've seen in like a few TV shows.
Got the guy from Titans in it.
Yeah,
plays Robin.
A couple of other good actors in it. I like this concept. I like what I saw, and there hasn't been in recent years for me. There hasn't been like a horror movie that I've really got behind. So I think this one might just be the one that's sort of. Anyway, for all the trailers that we saw, this was the one that really stood out.
The one that really stood out.
Oh, this has got some terrible reviews on IMDb. It's like 4s and 3s.
Out of
10. It's currently got an IMDb rating of 5.3, and that is from 837 people.
Wait, this is the trailer, right?
Ghosts of War.
No, this is the movie, Ghosts of War.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Skip that.
Metascore of 38 so far. I don't really go by the meta rating score anymore.
Right. This is when we find out the trailer for this, was so good, but the film's going to be crap. Or Bill and Ted. The trailer was so shit, but the film's going to be freaking awesome. Yeah,
I think that's the only other trailers worth mentioning out of the whole lot. I think we can skip most of the others.
I think we should spend a minute talking about Gamer Girl.
I was going to leave that for the gamer section.
Okay, we'll do that in the gamer section then.
Oh, well, actually, there was one.
Looks Like to Kill.
The movie about the boy who's so good looking, anyone who looks upon him dies.
I thought it started off good, and then it's just like, it just
as soon as the love aspect got introduced, you just like switched off because.
Yeah, that's why I felt, because I just don't have any love in my soul.
But no, that's not true though.
No, but it is true. There's nothing there. It doesn't exist.
You're just going through the motions.
Yeah, I've just been coached by you so many years that it's just faded away. You told me, son, don't believe in love. It's a disease.
It's a myth, a disease. It's like the flu. It's like COVID, basically.
So does your missus know you do a podcast?
We won't talk about my missus on this show.
No, but will she watch this podcast?
I hope
and
not.
Here,
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to promote this podcast.
You got learned from the last time. Secrets
of
the hand.
Yes.
Are you saying you haven't got her to go on her phone, to go to iTunes and give us a rating?
I have done none of that.
Oh my, just what? Come on. I take people's phones from them.
Oh, do you?
And then while I'm like,
what? Some of the lawyers, you take their phones from them and just
no, not people I work with, but anybody else's phone. Like they want me to help them or fix something on their device. I like that. But not people at my work though. I'll tell you that. I don't do that.
Wink. Yes. So yeah, this could be fun. I think it has potential. It could be a nice, those sort of rom-com comedies, which can sometimes be the highlight of a summer.
Yeah. I think it's got a very interesting concept. Looks like a nice indie film. Yeah. Right. Should we get some news?
Let's do it.
Right, brothers.
Not that there's much of it. I think we've got like 3.
I think we need to have a moment of silence for just the movie industry and cinema in general.
Not completely, because I know he's going to get into it, Tenet.
Yeah. No, it's not Tenet. I'm just going to talk about film release schedule in general.
But it could be unique for us because apparently we are going to get it. This is America that are going to be fucked.
I'm telling you, we're not. I'm telling you.
But go on,
so,
get into it.
So obviously the first part of this is the fact that I think I put on here about Tenet, but obviously during the week things have changed dramatically. So at the beginning of the week we weren't entirely sure what was going to be happening. It has now been confirmed that Tenet has been delayed indefinitely, and over the last couple of days, lots of other studios have followed with delaying all of like their tentpole movies. So like Mulan. Indefinite, like basically every big
Wonder
film
Woman.
this year gone. What's really funny is Disney have actually done their schedule so far in advance. They've even published like untitled Star Wars movies. They've even changed all the dates for the Avatar. If you look at the Avatar stuff, they've gone out as far as like 2028 for Avatar 5. So I think like Avatar 2 is coming in 2022 now. Yeah. And then I think they've got like an Avatar movie like every other year.
Yeah.
Till like 2028.
Yeah, so there is definitely knock on for everybody. But with some of these, like what I'm hearing with Tenet is that they reckon they can do a limited release over here.
Well, so they are. So I have heard that they are looking at overseas markets.
Yeah, because America's it is bad for them because for whatever reason they ain't going to get to little political issues, but it's hit them hard and it doesn't look like they're going to recover anytime soon. But for us, because it isn't that bad, and you with Europe, we're not as in a fucked up situation as they are in Asia.
I don't think they will do that with Tenet because they will look at the numbers, they will look at how expensive that movie is,
and the piracy potential.
Well, I don't know if piracy from cinemas is really a thing anymore, right? Who actually watches a pirate movie from a cinema?
I look at what people talk about with the reviews of movies that get bootlegged, and dude, thousands upon thousands of people still.
People watching handy cam jobs.
Yeah.
God.
I can because they're HD cameras now, so they're not all grainy, shitty looking.
But you're still like, it's a camera pointed at the screen with people's
sometimes
heads in the
people
background.
want to see the film more than anything.
So we've got Europe here. What about Asia? What are they saying about them?
Guessing it could happen there because like there's some sporting events happening in Japan now, like pro wrestling stuff's going on.
Yeah, because
with the live crowd. So
so in those countries, you've got things like we want you to wear a mask, we want you to do, and they will just do it, right? And in fact, it's a normal thing for them. It's not like it's a self-conscious thing here. So they haven't been hit as hard as we have,
or they had, but they cleared it quicker.
Right. Okay. So Tenet, a possibility then. That's one of the films that we're all looking forward to the most, aren't we, for this year?
Yeah. We are. I don't think it will come out this year now at all, regardless of where you live.
Oh, wager, you two should lay a wager. So wait, would you go to the cinema then? Here's my next question. I would go. Would you go?
Yeah. I mean, they're doing this whole they're keeping people separate. They've got like the plan of how. Well, cinemas are open here now. They are doing films. I think they're showing like the Empire Strikes Back for the 40th anniversary.
What cinemas?
I saw there's a link the other day that I saw. Some cinemas have now reopened.
Oh, didn't it?
Yeah, Cinemas. I think Cineworld opens at the end of. Actually, it should be open soon as well.
Okay. See, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. If they start opening, then those films should start leaking through.
No, so at the moment, all they're really doing is showing old films at the moment, which is no bad thing, right? Because I'd love to go and see some older films at the cinema. I think the problem with like a movie like Tenet is it's a very expensive movie, so they have to make a lot of money back to make it worthwhile. Plus, they have that insane clause written into it that Nolan gets something like his money. Normally, you get at the back end. He's getting at the front end. So he's probably got some sort of vested interest in it opening to the widest possible audience.
And it's never going to be that way. Like, they're never going to get the money they want to get because movies are never going to be open to the degree that they want them to be for at least another year.
But another year is not that long to have to wait.
Yes, it is.
There's so many other things to watch.
Long time.
It is a long time, but you have to look at it in the grand scheme of things, right?
And it's going to be harder for them to find a slot to put the movie because they're still trying to film new shit.
Everything will just go back. Right? Everything will
I'd be very surprised if they release a film in Europe that is worth, that's cost quite a lot of money to make and they put it out. As much as I think the side that is talking to us, it's the childish side, the side that wants it right now, that it's going to come out. And then, on Christmas Day...
I only expect a limited release. I'm not expecting it to be like a widespread every cinema. That's never going to happen for a while.
Yeah, and you wouldn't do that with a film like Tenet. You might do that with some like other films, but you wouldn't. That's like their big film for the year. I was listening to like Kevin Smith this morning, and he was like, he goes, I really wish I was friends with Chris Nolan, that I could phone him up and go around to his house and watch Tenet. He goes, I've done that like with Quentin Tarantino. He goes, he allows me to smoke in there. He's got like a proper cinema. Because I really wish I was friends with Chris.
That'd be cool.
Right, so the trend lately has been to make biopics. I said it incorrectly there.
No, you said it right for once.
Did I say it right there?
It's the first time you said it right.
I always say it right.
Oh, you say biopic, usually.
That's also right.
No,
that's what that word says.
Biopic. Biography. Biopic.
English is a fluid language and it's always changing. So there's been a trend to do movies based on like pop stars, bands, groups, that kind of stuff. So this week it was announced that Dave Franco will be doing Vanilla Ice. Ice, babe, to go.
So, baby. I am looking so forward to this. So obviously, we heard earlier on anyway.
We could have had a unique reaction to that in surprise, but Mo ruined it by telling us earlier. But I hope they have the whole Suge Knight dangling him out of off of a balcony by his legs.
They have to have that because that's the interesting part of the story.
That's the best part.
Well, he's probably given so much information. Like,
would he want to have that? Not everybody wants to be. The thing is, you have to put the ugly stuff as well as the good stuff.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's a really well-known thing. It's not like it's a hidden thing. It's not like he keeps it under wraps. Yeah. People know that happened and he wanted to get out.
And I could imagine, right? Could you just imagine the scene in the movie as well?
Like the guy that plays Suge Knight in the Straight Outta Compton movie. The same actor, because he was perfect.
Do you think like Suge Knight would be like, yeah, you got to have that scene in there. I want people to know what a mad motherfucker I am.
He's in prison. He does that shit.
So yeah, that scene needs to be in there.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Good film.
Yeah, because like we're all talking about it now. So if it's not in there, it's going to think, oh my god. And as a filmmaker, you probably know that from your audience as well. They will want certain particular scenes within.
Yeah, his rise, his fall, and he's doing okay now. Apparently, I think he does like real estate.
Wasn't he doing like a heavy metal band for a while as well?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I know he's like gets most of his money from real estate now, so he's clawed his way back to being stable.
So the name of the movie is going to be based on the name of his like original album,
Cold
To the Extreme.
Oh, Cold as Ice is the story, is the title. To the Extreme. I kind of.
Wait. Give me the titles again. So you said
it's called To the Extreme.
Cold as Ice would have been weird.
Yeah, it has to be something with ice in it.
Oh, but they've got to have him. That song's got to be in the film.
No, the music's got to be there.
Yeah. In fact, I think it's the only song I know of.
The thing is which Franco brother?
It is
the younger one.
Dave Franco.
That's the younger one. Okay, yeah, that work. That work. He's the right sort of. He looks young.
I really just want to like blast that tune now. Right, so Universal, there's a deal for secret Tom Cruise and Doug Liman action film to be shot in space.
He's looking to get paid $50 million for this. You've never had your say about this because you've never been here when we spoke about it. But Tom Cruise is gonna make a movie in space. He wants to be the first guy to do it.
So we touched upon it. That sounds friggin' nuts.
This will be the way he goes. This will be when he dies.
But this is the thing,
He's
right?
gonna die making a movie.
Does it really get you guys excited in any way whatsoever? For him, it's like I get to go to space.
Yeah,
that's why I want to make
it. It becomes a marketing gimmick for the film.
But
and him and McQuarrie together, they seem to have hit the golden. The G spot with movies now, with the Mission Impossible movies, them two together. So.
I guess it's something original, right? Because no one else can say that they've done a film shot in actual space.
Technicality of it, like even Top Gun, I wouldn't be that interested, but the fact that Tom Cruise has learned to fly a fucking fighter jet makes me curious to check out how they've shot these.
Really?
Yeah. See that even from the trailer did not impress you, seeing him take off and do the tricks and shit.
No.
Even when he had the helicopter.
Yeah, but you don't know what he really did shoot. Do you know what
we saw we saw the behind the scenes stuff of him doing the helicopter stuff. God, like we know that he actually did that stuff, even in Mission Impossible with the helicopter stuff.
Yeah. The thing that really comes to mind about this movie is getting to space is not cheap.
They team up with SpaceX though, apparently.
Yeah, but like imagine like they don't have cameras and equipment and lighting that is suitable for filming something in space.
So what this seems like, is Team X, great marketing. Sorry, SpaceX, great marketing for them.
Yeah.
You've got Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Who wants to do a film with them.
Yeah.
So their logos are probably going to be everywhere around this.
And a whole action movie shot in space. Are we talking like one scene, one action sequence, or a whole? Because are they going to build a whole space station out there?
They build a space station.
So what are they going to do?
Sure,
what they're going to do is they're going to do small little scenes where him in space, all right, and the rest is going to be CGI on ground. That's not what they're going to do this. Or otherwise, Eddie, think about how much this thing is going to cost.
That's the thing. I don't think they could really be that.
Are they going to go to the moon and build a base there?
No, but I think they could. I think most of it will be inside a space station or inside. Look at.
So are they going to build a space station?
No, but there is a space station.
There's the ISS, but the ISS is like a cramped little thing that's like
designed
so old.
They need little cameras. That's what they're going to do. That's what the science
is. Are they going to like pay NASA like millions?
They'll be fighting.
And you can't have that many people on that station.
It's not an action movie.
We just know it's a movie. We don't know what type of movie it's going to be. I'm not expecting massive martial arts sequences or aliens fooling around.
Well, that's different. If you're saying to me, okay, well, look, we don't know what sort of film it's going to be. But if you're saying it's an action, if somebody said to me it's an action movie, I'm thinking, right, they're going to go to space.
Show him taking off. All of that
couple of shots here and there.
Floating around the station.
All right, because he wants to do it because he's Tom Cruise. And the rest back on ground.
And none of the ships that we have on planet Earth have like laser cannons on them. So there's going to be like no chase sequences. There's going to be like no dogfights.
Yeah, none of that stuff.
There's no blowing up the Death Star.
It's just going to be dialogue, people stabbing themselves in the back. Probably someone gets murdered in the space station. He has to investigate who did it or something.
And are they going to be floating around all the time? So there's no gravity or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's actually sounding like a really bad idea.
That's what I'm saying. Does it really interest and excite you guys in any way?
I'm curious to see what they can do. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, what they
technical aspect of it.
What they can do.
Yeah.
What if they film this whole thing? They do this whole thing that it's in space, but they're lying to us and it's all done on a soundstage.
That's
and they're gonna get cool. Then they're gonna get cool.
But they haven't got caught for going to the moon for the first time yet, apparently.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, what have we got a release date? Have we got this? This is just
they can't plan for that at this stage of the world being that way.
No. But
it could be like 4 years away.
Well, surely you put everyone in quarantine, right? And then you just blast off.
Yeah, that's what
the thing is. They got to build these new cameras. They got to do the Cameron thing, where he invents new cameras for every film.
This is going to be an expensive film that probably doesn't happen in the end. And then you're saying he's going to have a $50 million fee.
Yeah.
So that's before.
I think because the danger aspect of it, he has to get paid way more.
So before they even hit production, they're already in debt by $50 million.
Wait, who's going ahead with this? What's the production?
Is this Universal?
It will be Tom's production company as well. So Universal with Tom's production company, Chris McQuarrie,
Tom's production.
Doug Lamb.
Little first name.
Tom's production company.
What can I say?
Hey Tom,
I've come across with the guy. I didn't like him, but now we'll do it. Yeah, but it's got a director, it's got a writer, it's got the star, it's got all the elements that it needs to get made.
Is this going to be? It's not going to be. Oh, yeah, so Universal movie. So it's not going to be like a Mission Impossible sequel or anything like that.
No, but it should be. You think that would be the perfect way to end his run as Mission Impossible to go into space?
Actually,
for them to do it before the Fast and Furious film eventually inevitably ends up in space.
Like they literally like crash land on the moon, and that's where like the final fight happens in like spacesuits.
And you know, Fast and Furious is going to space at some point. That's gonna happen.
They've got to keep. They've spoken about this.
Are they like going to launch? Like, and the wheels are going to retract, and the wings are going to come out, and they're going to fly a slingshot around the moon.
The car will be in the spaceship that launches, but then it will come back to Earth by just smashing through outside the ship and just going back the what's it called when it comes back into the
re-entry?
Yeah, it burns up on fire and it's just bins at the wheel to say, "Yeah, we're gonna die."
And then he flips his
switch. He's driving. He's driving.
And it's just burning up around him.
And then a parachute opens and he like lands on the ground and he just like rolls away.
I would love to watch that movie.
There you go, Universal. We've just given you the plot for the next Fast and Furious film.
Okay.
A bit of mini news. Something I think you guys will be very, very excited about. So we even have not had the season 2 premiere of The Boys yet on Amazon, but we've already been informed that it has been renewed for season 3. Obviously, Amazon must be very, very confident or really like what they've seen of season 2. And this is just amazing news that knowing that we're getting more.
Love it. So happy.
Absolutely. Not a lot to say
I don't think I've met anyone that doesn't like this show. Even when you talk about it, anyone who hasn't even come across you forced them to sit down and watch it. No, I don't want to watch it. Once they've started one episode, they cannot stop.
It's awesome.
Love it. Right. So I know we've been talking for a couple of weeks about putting some gaming topics on. So I have added a couple onto this week's show. It's a good thing that we've got Salim here because one of the questions is a monetary style question.
What's the name of the segment? We've got to give it a name. Talking at the arcade.
Talking at the arcade. Now, if you don't know what an arcade is, young folks, it's not a shopping centre. Not a shopping centre. You know when you go back to the arcade.
Oh man, you hate yourself. Yeah, suicidal. Relationship that bad.
Or is this like you're thinking of keeping games?
About my relationship. Amazing. You need one in your life, Eddie. That's what it is.
Did you want us to leave you alone for a while?
Mo and you having a relationship. About the podcast we were talking about on the drive.
I don't even want to get to that.
So
talking
at the arcade.
Talking at the arcade, right. So this year we have the launch of the new consoles, right? New console from Sony, new console from Microsoft. They normally call these like gens. This would be like technically the 9th gen, but I think Nintendo has ruined that because they've kind of.
This is from months ago.
Huh? Yeah, I'm setting the scene.
I'm
setting the scene because our listeners may not be gamers. They may really.
Well, they're not going to listen to this part.
But we might be bringing something interesting, right? Anyway, so obviously this generations of consoles is supposed to be a huge dramatic leap in processing power and what the games will look like, right? Mm-hmm. So this has led to some conversations that games might become more expensive to purchase, right? So in real terms, the cost of a game hasn't dramatically changed since I was a child, right? So when I was like 10, 12 years old, I was buying a Nintendo.
Surely they were like 30, 40 quid back then.
They were 40 quid back then. Yeah, they were.
And then
how much is a game now, Eddie?
Yeah.
50 quid.
Right. So no, you can still buy a game on launch day for 40 quid if you shop around.
The only games I remember that used to be super expensive was the Nintendo stuff. I remember putting £70.
That was only some of those, right? That was like if they had to put more like special chips in the games, more RAM. So Street Fighter had like 32 megs of RAM, where a standard game would be like 4.
That's always surprising because it never seemed like a game that needed all that shit.
What, Street Fighter?
Yeah, I guess there's more to it than
that was an arcade game, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't that one wasn't the more expensive one. It was the
Star Fox.
It was the Super Street
Stunt
Fighter.
Racers.
Super one,
So in real terms, pricing of games hasn't really changed. And I should have really gone back and looked at what 40 quid is the equivalent of now, because I'm sure it's a hell of a lot more. So there are some games that are like $49.99 in the States. They can be like $59.99. So there is a talk about maybe raising that price by 10. I know developers have been under a lot of pressure by putting lots of like loot boxes, DLC, in trying to keep that base price down.
This encourages more of that.
But it kind of like at some point, like you imagine, like these games, they cost more than movies to make, some of them, right? And they take years, literally. Like these games take far longer than a film to make. And
I guess the average people expect. I hear people complaining when Resident Evil 3 remake, people bitching because it was so short. So they expect the game to last like 10 hours at least now.
I think 10 hours of a game is probably not really unrealistic, but I'm actually one of these people that think, when they make a game that says like 70 hours or 100 hours, I'm like, I don't need a game that's that long.
Yeah, Wichita games are just forever.
Exactly. So the question really is here, and I guess you two are probably the worst people to ask for, because you've got Mr. Tight Hair who never spends any money. You've got you who
backseat gamer.
You're a backseat gamer, but I don't think you've ever bought a video game ever. When was the last time you bought a video game?
For 360. Against 360.
You bought 360. You had a 360.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you going to buy a new console?
No.
That's it.
You can think of it.
Yeah.
Really?
I nearly bought battery low. You gotta do this quick. I nearly got a Switch in it when this quarantine started, and I looked at the game before. I want to play
your battery's low. My sort of issue with this whole thing is that inside the games now they're charging you so much. £40 may be the game, but I know people that have spent like hundreds of pounds when they're buying additional stuff for the game. So that doesn't make. I just think it's another way of them just making more money on top of it.
10% remaining.
Right. So next topic. Should we talk about Gamer Girl, the trailer?
No.
We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it.
Are we going to sign off here?
Check out the Gamer Girl trailer. It's interesting.
Why haven't you got a plug for your laptop?
Because we don't usually go for this long. And I guess the Zoom takes extra power out of the thing.
This long. Right, folks, if you want to email us, we are tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet us, we're Talking Movies. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we're Talking Movies. In fact, Twitter is Talking Movies 3.
Don't forget Voltron Network on YouTube. You're watching this. You already know where you are. Check out DC vs. Marvel podcasts, original versus remake, spin-off bonus from this, and whatever else is out there. Wrestling Ruckus. All that. So, guys, from here, Reese.
Royce Adam.
And Nemo.
See you guys next week. Bye.